What up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Up Next Podcast. I'm Jamal Murphy. Got my man Khalid Green in the house. We got a very special guest. Also, it's been a while. We've been going for a minute, but we're back to discuss youth sports. Of course, basketball is always on the top of the menu. Um, but you know the program. Khalid, what's up? What's been up with you?
I'm good, man. Just happy to have my bro out here, Tiny. One of the pillars of New York City basketball, a legend. Even when I'm in the nation traveling, people are like, "Yo, you know Tiny?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I know Tiny. That's my guy." So I'm happy to have him on here, man.
I
Exactly.
appreciate it.
So
I
that yeah, that,
appreciate
that
it.
that's our special guest for today. Uh New York City legend. I think Hall of Famer too. Is that true?
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah,
A
it's a
little
little
something
bit.
like that.
Yeah,
The
it's a little bit.
legend Coach Tiny Morton, uh currently head coach at Lawrence Woodmere Academy in Queens.
Don't got,
Previously, of course, Lincoln High School in Brooklyn. He was the AD at Nazareth. He founded Juice All Stars, played at Lincoln. So we're gonna get into it, uh, like I said, with a true New York City hoops legend. What's up, man? Thanks for
how
joining
you
us.
doing, man? I appreciate that. Appreciate. I got this correct a little bit.
Okay,
Lawrence Woodmere is in Woodmere, Long Island. It's not Queens.
is it close to
Uh,
Queens at least?
it's down the block from Queens,
All right, all
basically.
right, all right.
But I gotta make sure the Queens guys, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, all right.
get that correct a little bit.
Yeah,
I am from
that's
Brooklyn.
like saying you telling somebody you're in East New York, you really in Brownsville. You know they get
Exactly. That's not, yeah,
they can get
exactly.
touchy, man.
It can get touchy. You're right. You're right.
Right. Well, I'm sure in a couple of years, if you're still there coaching, people will know exactly where it's at. After you do your thing. But like I said, thanks for joining us. And just tell us, what made you take on the new job? How did that all go down?
Um, Basically, it was a couple of reasons why. One of the reasons why is because I was really watching the high school platform for the last 2 years closely, and I questions about New York City being down in basketball, and I noticed there was a lot of talent in New York City. It just wasn't. It was spread it out. It was spread it out. Not sure, how dedicated the coaches was when it came to fundamentals. So I always was saying to myself, I come back to coach, but I had to come back somewhere where it made a lot of sense because of the new platform for high school basketball and for basketball on all levels. And a couple of friends of mine told me about the opportunity to coach at Woodmere. And when I went there and met the headmaster, who looked like me, who just retired being a principal, so he understood my walk, and it made a lot of sense. You know.
Tiny, how is it like stepping back? Like, you've been away for a minute. Um, you know, the kids, they say the kids are a little different than they were. You got social media that kids are doing TikTok now, and Bashy wasn't doing any of that. None of that was going on. Lance, none of that was going on. Like, how's the dynamic of coaching changed for you?
Well, it's a catch-22 on that because before you had to have marketing schemes and scams, whatever you want to call it, to get somebody to really be seen by either the shoe companies or coaches. Now everything is self. It's not. I won't say self-motivated, but it's less a coach have to do to market a kid. Well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. So right there, I think the motivation for some kids are there because some kids just want to be that guy. So from that aspect of it, I don't think it's that much different from me because fortunately, I had a few guys that was that guy back then. But like you said, the self marketing and the self promotion is at an all time high, which that's the other part of it. That's not realistic. It's still the NBA spots didn't get no greater. It's still only what 450 spots if that.
Hmm.
And but the pool of basketball has it's huge now. This was way beyond back 20 years ago or 15 years ago, even 10 years ago. So
Right.
to answer your question, it's been different, but like I said, I've always been around the game, so I kind of understood the change.
Right.
What about the game itself, like on the court? Any difference? Like, obviously, you've been around the game, you see what it is, but in terms of your coaching, it gives you being away from coaching. I'm sure it gives you a chance to think about, oh, I might do this differently, that differently. Have you changed your style or your philosophy at all?
Yes, definitely. I mean, stepping back and going to Seton Hall and then coming back and then going to Nazareth and going to Patrick School. I mean, it was really refreshing for me because I got a chance to learn from different people in different situations. And coaching TBT was amazing for me because I got a chance to coach in pros. So I didn't have to coach as much as I used to. I just watch and manage time and watching those guys in TBT really play a loose game, a transition game. It really helped me kind of understand the new era of basketball. So I was really always into it, but I just wasn't into it per se.
Mm-hmm.
How is so it was like, I think it was August or maybe July, August. I was talking to you and you were telling me that you back in it. Then I didn't speak to you for a little gap, but I saw you were showing improvement because every time I turned around, there was another announcement that somebody was going to Lawrence Woodmere. So I want to know, how is it being Omar from The Wire, man?
Hey Liz, I'm gonna tell you something. The funny thing about it is this, right? I was I was telling people that I had open gym, and that open gym, I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but a lot of people showed up to the open gym, and I had no intentions on who was coming to play or who wanted to play because I was just throwing it out there. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I knew, Lawrence Woodmere wasn't in Brooklyn; it was in Long Island. But I got a lot of feedback, and it told me a couple of things. It told me one, some parents wanted some real coaching or wanted to be one they kids to be coached by me, but also showed me that New York City has some players. You know, it had some players, and it also had uh, a hunger to want to learn. So when people say that these kids today spoil you X, Y, and Z, I haven't really seen that because unless maybe because of my experience and the guys got smartphones so they can Google me a little bit, they can see the things I've done, but it's been amazing how many kids or how many programs or how many families are looking to really be coached.
Right.
You know.
Nah, I
Well,
agree. I agree. The one thing I've learned from stepping away as a coach myself, even after coaching AAU, um, you know, there's a lot of YouTube coaches out here, man.
Yes.
They just learn something on YouTube and consider themselves coaches. And the authentic coaches, the real players, are always going to gravitate towards that because they really want to be coached and they want to get better. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
break that down though. Like, what's the difference between a YouTube coach and a real coach?
Is that for me or Lid?
Both.
I would say that, a lot of people underestimate the what it takes to really be a coach. Like, I remember I go back with Tiny when we were at when I was at LIU as a grad assistant. Tiny used to come there, and we used to sit in Coach Haskins' practices and learn. I used to be Coach Haskins used to see me with my little note and pad all the time, just taking down information and trying to study. So I think a lot of people take for granted the little details that it takes to be a big time coach, or just a coach in general, just somebody that really loves the game and really wants to give back to the kids. Like it's not a cookie cutter approach, but it certainly is not a shortcut. You definitely have to learn and be a student of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I agree. I second that. And one thing that I see a lot of coaches in New York City are not doing is that they're not moving with the time. You know, a lot of coaches are still stuck in their dinosaur ways and think that this game owe them something. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I always looked at the students that I coach as the product, and I was just trying to manage the product. I hope the product gets somewhere, you know, to a better place. A lot of coaches won't put, you know, and I'm not saying that individuals should put tradition in front of the tradition, but we got to be honest. If you don't have talent, you don't have anything. If you don't have product, you don't have anything. You can have the best named restaurant, but if the chefs are terrible and the food is nasty, then you don't have anything. You know, so you got to put something. Got to be, you know, put up in front. So I think, you know, me having that experience with the couple of, you know, pros I coach, or a couple of good players I coach, I understand that, you know, it's a business. You know, it's a give and take when it comes to some of these families and these kids.
Yeah.
So staying on that, I mean, you're at a new. I don't know, like what was the program like at Woodmere before you got there?
It wasn't this loud. I don't know. It wasn't this loud. You know, it's very loud right now. You know, a lot of people are happy, and a lot of people are not happy.
Mm,
And I think one of the reasons why people are not happy is because they wasn't coaching. And to be a coach, you just can't be a coach inside your building. You know, if you care about the kids, you know, next move in life, you gotta be out there, you know, every season, not just in the winter. And
mm,
you know, I think that's one of the things that even before I decided to take this position, I was in EYBL, I was on AAU, you know, things. I was trying to see what's going on, and you know, who's this, who's that. So you know, a lot of coaches don't do that. A lot of coaches don't care about that. A lot of coaches, you know, I get it. Parents have families, and that's their priority. I understand that, but you know, some coaches, some coaches like Rick Pitino are still coaching at 70 years old.
right.
They love the game.
Yep. Leonard Hamilton. He's up there.
A lot of guys. So now, so you know, at Woodmere now, what's your like? How do you build? How are you building the program? Like, what are you like? You bringing in? Is it young guys? Is it all different guys? Like, how do you look at it in
So
terms of building it?
so one thing I said to myself is I kind of wanted to challenge myself and focus on Long Island players. You know, I didn't want to, you know, go back, you know, to New York City and depend on New York City to have a Long Island program. So I really focused on Long Island players. I try to make sure Long Island understood that I was here to give them another platform, you know, outside of the Lou Highs and who else was playing well in Long Island. I really thought that Long Island had a lot of good players that were scattered, but it just wasn't a platform. So that was the first thing I thought made sense. And then, you know, it's basically it's a private school, so we couldn't model ourselves after a Lou High. We can have 3 or 4 teams and still be competitive, you know. And that's what we thought was the right move to make, is to have more than one team and make sure we be competitive and like I said before, if you have a gym full of guys that's trying to get good, then but you're trying to better themselves, then everything else take care of itself. So we really try to model ourselves with the programs all over the country. You know, I spoke to OTE about some things. You know, I spoke to Nike about some things. You know, and talked to Adidas. So I really try to get it to a level where the kids could really get scholarships because there wasn't a lot of scholarships given out the last couple of years in New York City.
How you feel about your team this year?
Young, our team is young. Our team is young, and no one really knows each other because they wasn't teammates last year, which I love. You know, it's no edge. Nobody can say, you know, this guy's the man, and that guy's the man. Especially when it comes to me, because what they don't know, what they will find out, and they are finding out, is that I'm fair. You know, you as good as your last game. You know, and it's nothing really, you know, handed to you. You got to step out. I love my team right now because of that. They are all give me a chance to coach. But not even that. The families are giving me a chance to be myself. You know, besides the administration, everyone is giving me a chance to be me and coach basketball, which I love that.
When's your so what's your season look like? Like you're in you're an independent program, Tiny?
Yeah, we're independent right now, so you know, I have my schedule set. I was going to post it actually tonight, um, but I'm gonna wait probably till tomorrow morning sometime. But we play a bunch of Jersey schools. We the Patrick School, Hudson Catholic, St. Benedict's, Roselle,
Oh, that's a lot of
Collegeville
smoke right there.
Achieve.
Yeah,
We playing in the Swoosh Classic, which is gonna be at the UP. What's that? The UPS arena.
right.
We playing there. We playing against a team called Hampton that got a 2 or 3 Division I commits. Lou Howard being in the building the same time we playing. We playing in the Metro Classic in Jersey where Mount Verb would be in the building while we playing. We playing in the Jordan Classic. We going to Vegas. We going to Maryland, Charlotte. So you know, it's not a chump schedule. You know, what I mean,
Yeah,
I
y'all
don't think we're gonna.
outside. Y'all outside.
You're
Yeah,
not playing around.
I don't think. I don't think we're gonna win a couple of games, but we might. You know, we might win some of them. But
Right.
it's all about the experience for some young guys I have.
No
But you
doubt.
feel like you got talent to at least you feel like you got young talent to play with.
Yeah, we do have some young talent. We got some young guys that you know. I was lucky to get a couple of guys because a couple of programs wasn't doing the right thing. So I got a couple of guys to come over, you know, and we trying to mesh them together. But I do got a bone to pick with Lid, but I'm gonna let this flow through though.
You good?
Yeah,
You know,
pick a bone.
that's good
It's a
entertainment. You know
platform,
what I'm
man.
saying?
You know. So this, I gotta say this, man, because you know I was at Peace Jam, and I ran into the OTE guy who does a lot of content. I forgot his name,
Uh-huh.
but I ran into him, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, I've been you know, wanting to meet you. I know a little about you, whatever." I was trying to talk to Sebastian about some content, so I got to really understand what OTE is about per se.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got this position at Woodmere, and I seen uh, OTE grab up the kid Mel, right? And I seen him grab up a couple other kids. I said, well, no, this is a good chance for me to be a part of that OTE content specialty. So I called my guy Pete at OSL, who played for me at Lincoln. Pete played for me at Lincoln.
Right.
Called him up. I'm like, yo, let's get a game. I got a piece, you got a piece. It'll be great for New York City, but it'll also be great for content.
Right.
I might have called Pete in what was this? Maybe first week of September. I called Pete about 35 times now. I ain't get I ain't get a call back.
Oh, well, you put me on the group chat with Pete,
Exactly.
and it was
So
crickets.
so to answer your question, your question before, I don't know if people scared of me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's me or the players. And I think that's one of the things that's funny to me because I'm not sure if our team is that good, but I know because of what I did in the past, we making some noise. Because a lot of guys that I thought was probably a better program, better team than us right now, like you said, they quiet. They
And,
quiet
and,
right
and
now.
the city that would have been a good look for the city to see Anderson Diaz versus
Mel, man.
Mel Mel.
Mel Mel, that's official. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's at OSL, Jelly Family.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Matter of
yeah.
fact, I think their first game is this Friday.
Yeah, see, yeah. I thought OT was about content, but I see they're not.
Now we about content, but some I can't control who ducks the smoke, Tiny. I can't I can't control who ducks smoke.
It's all good though. But you know
Nah,
what?
it's all
It's for
good.
the kids first, man. That's what I always thought. It's for the kids. It's about wins and losses sometimes, but the kids should be able to have the chance to always win.
Yep,
It's for the kids though.
yep.
Like to mess with Pete.
So I guess you back coaching. You feel rejuvenated, like just you as a person. Like how's getting back in coaching making you feel?
I feel wonderful, man. Like I didn't have a set schedule. I would go home and have too much free time. I think FanDuel got the best of me the last 2 or 3 years. I had too much FanDuel time. Now I got a schedule. I got to go to practice. Yeah, I definitely feel energized. Definitely energized. Definitely.
Well, this is your element, Tiny. We happy for you.
Yeah.
And when you drop the schedule, man, let me know. I'm coming. I'm coming as a supporter, man. I'm
I
not coming.
appreciate that.
I'm not coming as OTE, bro.
That's what's up. That's what's up. It doesn't matter though. It's all good.
No doubt.
But now that you were rejuvenated and you had some time off, um, to really sit back and watch the game, and now you can apply different things. But just for the listeners who don't know your history, like who some of the people that you coached in the past that have also shaped how you coach and the big time talent that you've coached in the past. Like who are some of those guys and what did they teach you along the way?
Well, obviously, I was assistant coach when Stephon was at Lincoln,
Hmm.
and I was very close to his situation his last year and a half. So I kind of seen one of the biggest or one of the best players in New York City do it, and then from there, coaching his little cousin Sebastian, I had hands on how to really navigate the kids from high school to the NBA. And then from there, I started getting players like Lance and Whitehead, and not just. And I don't like just to name those guys. It's sad that people
Hmm.
always talk about those guys, but I think the thing I did well was when I did have one of those super, uh, how can I say, publicity kids. I always mended the other kids around them well. I made sure those guys was not being big headed when it comes to being in our practice and so on and so on. So yeah, that definitely helped me out. I mean, that definitely still helping me out. Having movies, about us, TV shows, books. I think that all play a good part in me having experience on how to deal with certain situations. In today's game. You know.
And you mentioned before, how I don't know, about the talent level in New York City. I can't imagine there not being a lot of talent in New York City, but it hasn't been. People either don't recognize it, or guys are going to prep school, so they don't even know they're from the city, that type of thing. But from what you're seeing now in the city, in Long Island, wherever, just New York, tri-state area, whatever, what kind of talent is still here?
Well, put it like this. I said this to somebody quietly. I have I have a 13-year-old on my team that I'm confident in playing. I have 3 or 4 sophomores that I think that's at worst mid-major to big-time basketball players. I got 2 or 3 kids that I think that has pro potential. And this is from a person who's seen a young Sebastian, a young Lance, so on.
Mm.
When it comes to youth, and it takes, it takes just more than playing high school basketball. It takes the AAU scene. It takes, good families. So I really think that, New York City gonna always have talent. The key is the coaches, the coaching, and the know-how, like, to a certain level, because that matters as well. You can have great talent and don't have a platform, and you'll never see the talent. So it goes hand in hand to me. But I really think New York City, and so that's my daughter.
Oh, okay.
You,
Okay.
you there, Lit?
Yeah, we here.
You there?
Yeah.
Yep.
You hear us?
Is that me or you?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
We hear you.
He'll probably call back in.
Okay.
But no, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
There he is.
I don't know. That was me or you.
We
Yeah, I
good.
think you were breaking up there.
Yeah, it's my bad. I don't
So
know the last thing you heard.
basically, there's talent. You see talent as you always have out here, and I guess that's what you're saying. Like that's why you wanted to get back in the game, not just you want to help nurture that talent.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Well, all right, man. Now we appreciate it. Like I said, this is our first show in about a year, and we're blessed to have one of the greats of New York City. You mentioned the people you played. I mean, you coached along the way. Been doing it for a long time. Uh, Good luck this year with a whole new program. You got, like you said, you got a young team with a monster schedule. So we'll be watching. Good luck with everything, and hopefully we get you back on and we can talk about it again.
I appreciate that. Last thing I'm gonna say, let everybody know, yeah, we are part of the state. We're part of the federation, so we all good. So you guys can stop saying that.
Oh, that's what they running? Okay. It's always something.
Always something, Lynn.
Always something. Yo, appreciate you, Tiny.
All right, say appreciate y'all.
All right,
Thank
peace.
you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, good stuff, man. The legend Tiny Morton has a new project. There's a new program, and we could only expect that he's going to do big things there.
Yeah, my bro is one thing that I know about Tiny is, he's a passionate guy. You could see it. You could see that he loves to be back in the game. So it's a sense of purpose for him. I know what that means and feels like as a coach, to be away and then come back and then you just gung ho, and you can tell, his whole vibe is excited, and I can tell that I can feel that the players and the administration will feel that same vibe, and only good things are going to come out of it. But the city is on notice because a lot of players lost their play. A lot of teams lost their players
Mm-hmm.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
So stop worrying about OTE, man. You got you got something in your city to worry about.
I hear you. I hear you. What's up? What's up? Before we get out of here, what's up with how you doing, man? How's OTE going? How's your position?
We're blessed to be starting our season November 1st, which is 2 days from now. I'll be in Atlanta for those games. It's going to be a very competitive season. We have some of the top players in the country, as we always do. Malik Thomas and Jasper Johnson and the Ellis twins. So it's going to be an exciting season. I think, in my opinion, I think it'll come down to one of those teams in Atlanta. and maybe 2 teams in Atlanta, as my prediction, will be in the championship this year. So we'll see.
You mean in OTE championship?
In the OTE championship, yes. So for those that don't know, we have 8 teams that are in the league. 3 teams are in Atlanta. They stay in the dorm, which is about 5 minutes away from the facility, the OTE facility. And we have 5 teams, affiliate teams in different states, including New York, North Carolina, Florida. So it's going to be an exciting season. I'm excited to go down there and check out game 1 and game 2, and let the good season begin. Let the games roll.
Do they all play in Atlanta? Are all the games in Atlanta, or they're all over?
They're all over, but most of the games are in Atlanta.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the team, are they is the talent, you think, evenly matched throughout the 8 teams, or are the Atlanta teams a little more?
It is definitely a league of parity.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's obviously some teams that have a little more talent than others, but
That's life.
as we see, the Jets have a lot of talent right now, and they're 2-6.
Exactly.
So talent alone won't win games. So it's all
True.
about it. It does come down to chemistry and coaching as well.
Right. Well, yeah. Keep us updated on that. We'll be, I know I'll be watching that too. Now it's on cable.
It's on cable. It's on YouTube. Go to Amazon.
Right.
And also go, for those that haven't, go to Amazon, get my book, Free Game.
Yep.
Parents Guide to Navigating Black and Brown Children Through Youth Sports and Beyond. Follow us on Up Next. Follow me at FreeGame.7. But Up Next on Twitter.
Yep.
Up Next on YouTube. We're outside again, man. We're going to have some of the best content in America, and some of the best players in the country will come up on here.
Definitely. And if you can check out our past interviews where we had like a Scoot Henderson when he was in high school.
Right.
We had Boogie Flan on when he was like a sophomore.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I just named a couple names, but there's a lot. Funny thing. Remember, we had a football player, because we were doing all sports for a while, and we had a football player, and I remember you came with this quarterback from like the West Coast. I think he was, I forget where he was exactly, somewhere in California, and he wasn't even highly recruited. He wasn't sure where he was going to go.
Right.
Turns out it was this kid Fafita, and now Fafita is a starting quarterback at Arizona, the University of Arizona, putting up crazy numbers for the last 2 years.
Wow!
And I just look out when I see him, like, Khalid got the Midas touch, man.
Oh, yeah, baby. Like,
you are here, you most likely you're gonna shine on the next level.
If you come up on here,
most of them know it, but whether you know it or not,
yes,
you shine.
Yes, we're going to get the stars of the next generation, and we'll have you listen to them before they become stars, so you can then follow their careers as they go along. But we might get them at 10 years old, and you might say, "Who is that?" And then by 18, you'll know who he is. So
exactly,
they'll be up on this. They'll be up on this podcast.
Jada Williams, who's now point guard at Arizona. She's point guard at Arizona. There's so many. The twins, the Paldo twins?
Yep. They
signed.
They're in overtime select. They play in our girls' league. Yep.
Did they sign with Tennessee?
I'm not sure.
I know that was high on their list. I'm not sure if they did or not.
Okay.
But anyway, we can go on and on. I'll stop.
Absolutely.
I'll stop. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Like you said, engage with us. We appreciate the support. Follow us on Instagram at Up Next, Twitter at Up Next, YouTube Up Next Podcast, and we'll have a lot more content coming and consistently.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.